What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Melo.
and Rado is a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports predictions. So this week we're going to talk about a few things, but before that, I want to make sure if you guys are watching, go ahead and click the video below, click that like button, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Oh, yes.
If you guys are listening, we're everywhere right now. Apple, Spotify, anywhere you want to listen to your podcast, we got you. Also, we have a Patreon, guys. If you guys want to check us out there, if you guys want to ask us questions, we got some really cool merch out there on our Patreon if you want to check that out too. In the subscription out of the 3-month, the 6-month, and 9-month. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And make sure you guys follow us on our personal pages. I'm at The Iconic Dude, Instagram / The Iconic Dude, and Melo.
Melo the Notorious.
That's right, that's right. And this week we got a really nice topic and a really cool thing for you guys. Melo, take it right now. Let them know what we got.
I'm excited for this episode. It's been a long time coming, so a couple things. One is NFL season. We're smack dab in the middle of Bill country. Everyone around us are huge Bill fans. So I actually have the pleasure of not only bringing our first guest to the podcast, but actually bringing a local celebrity. And 100% I said local celebrity because my man is nothing short of that. Today we have Jordan Girls, basically 100% the person who was coined as being the person to make the Bill table smash viral and has the earliest recorded video of a table smash at a Bills game. So this has been backed by a couple different outlets, including The Athletic, and pretty much there has been people trying to disprove him for 7 years as not being the person to start this trend. He knows damn well he's not the first person to do it, but all it takes is one viral video, and you're pretty much known as a guy. So I want to give it up for Jordan Grills, pretty much, like I said, local celebrity, Bills fanatic, and obviously a good friend of mine as well, man. How you doing?
Love you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. Jose, that was a hell of an intro. I hope my celebrity actually comes through after that introduction because, yeah, that was one hell of a one. Thank you, boys, for having me.
No, man, really appreciate you for coming on to the podcast. And you definitely had a long history. Obviously been a Bills fan for a long time, and we definitely want to have you for that reason. But you're also known for a lot more things. So it's really cool to have you on. And you also have your own podcast, right?
Yes. Yeah, we just dropped it. Mortal Sportsman is the one. It's through the podcast Leaving Earth. Got a couple different podcasts on there, a few tinfoil hat stuff, but the Mortal Sportsman is mostly focused on everything sports and everything gambling because I am a degenerate, like many of you, I'm sure, who listen.
Same with us, man.
Of course.
I'm a believer, so. But I'm also a believer in a lot of things. NFL, of course, I'm sure you're a believer.
Big believer over here.
Their fans.
Believe.
Right? We got a lot of things to talk to you about today. And so how did you become a Bills fan? You know, how long have you been a Bills fan for?
Well, like my hairline, it is hereditary. It came pretty much out of the womb. My dad has been a big Bills fan ever since he moved here, so he's actually Canadian.
Oh,
and
really?
Obviously they've seen everything, the 4 straight losses. For a while, the only game that I saw that he actually cared about, the Bills, was the Music City Miracle.
Yes.
That was the last time he cared about the Bills for about 17 years.
Man.
That was tough.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Bills stuff, a lot of the table smashing and the antics comes from us just being horrible and keeping occupied.
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember when I read the article, which we're gonna have the link to the athletic article that was written about you, for sure. But whoever wrote that article did such a good job of basically saying why the table smash was so popular with Bills fans, why that gritty type of nature, being having the reputation you guys had for so long of basically not being good. It sucks to say, but especially like right around 2015, where you kind of see a lot of potential and you kind of felt like tide was turning, but you just couldn't quite make it over the hump. So it definitely goes to show like the table smashing, it goes hand in hand with being a Bills fan, 100%.
Yeah, and I can imagine. Like I know there's had to been some tough years, after the four losses in the '90s, and obviously those were like the dark ages in the Bills, and even the early 2000s. Man, I remember those teams like after Bledsoe, the Trent Edwards teams, J.P. Lossman teams. Like definitely remember some of the woes of the Bills. I had
Bringing back some bad memories there.
yeah, terrible. But hey, I mean, this year they got a lot to believe in, and then the past few years they definitely shown like they belong as one of the top teams in AFC. So you got to give it to them. Like they definitely turned it around as the laughing stock, because for a long time they were like one of the lowliest teams, along with like Cleveland, and.
No, and definitely with that history, like I said, losing four Super Bowls, not being able to even come close to it then, up until pretty much recently, it definitely left a big stain on the franchise itself. But let's get into you and how this whole table smashing thing started. So it looks like you said you yourself started doing table smashing back in college in Fredonia. So I'm gonna have you explain a little bit about how that came about. But before we do that, I do have proof of this video of this table smasher, and I want to show you guys. So let's share this and check this out. And there goes your pants. So why don't you walk us through that video? Yeah, actually, yes, perfect form. Table
That was awesome.
obliterated, pants obliterated. How drunk were you, and why don't you walk us through that scenario?
More obliterated than the table and the pants combined. That was Fred Fest. For those who aren't aware, Fredonia is about 40 minutes south of Buffalo. And it was also before they started doing training camp at St. John Fisher. That's where they had the Bills training camp.
That's right.
During the early 90s. So, I mean, it is such a Bills town. Every bar, every Sunday. When I was going there, obviously, because we didn't have any primetime games, it was just complete Bills town. It didn't matter how bad we are. Everyone had their own drink specials, shot specials. It was just 100% Bills town. So that's kind of where the table breaking story starts. It happened at a party. We saw this dude do this, the slam dunk where people run and jump and try to slam dunk a cup or a ball into a cup.
Yeah, after some beer pong, try to.
Yeah. Usually it don't end up well.
That's called the Superman. I think I've done one.
Superman.
Yeah.
So this guy did the Superman, and we thought that's pretty cool. We kind of took that for a while, and then one night someone did the Superman at a house party that we were having, and we go, well, we don't even really need the cups. Why don't we just start jumping through the tables? We'll just start, slamming each other through them. That could be fun. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's not much else to do. The bars are closed. You probably struck out. You didn't bring anyone home. Obviously, that's why you're down there with your boys smashing tables. So that's kind of how it started. Really rudimentary before anyone even really had like smartphones. We might have, but I mean, Instagram I don't think was a thing back in, it was like 2011 ish. So
it wasn't
we
that
just did it for
social
fun.
media.
Right. I mean, people always seen that on the WWE, obviously, and like stuff like that. But I mean, I'm sure you guys were always fans of.
Those tables were fake, though. I promise you that.
Yeah, the Dudley brothers, big influence. Jeff Hardy, obviously, huge influence. Love the Hardy Bros.
Of course.
Yep. So we all had our own little kind of alter egos at night. Wed get each other up on shoulders, power bomb each other through it. The cool thing is, once the legs broke off, we would just rip the metal parts off the legs and put the table in between two chairs, and then just continuously slam each other through the top of the table. Endless fun.
That's funny.
So I read in the article, it said by the time you got towards graduation, it was 50 plus tables at this point, and it got to the point where you pretty much were expected to go flying through tables anytime you made an appearance at a party.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like one of two reactions. One would be like, hey, I got a table out back. You want to go through it? It'd be obviously yes. Two would be like, hey, I got a table I really care about. Please stay away from it. That's kind of how it went.
Just walking like, hey, walk everybody. This is my grandmother's antique. Do not touch it.
Yeah. Honestly, there's one story I'll quickly say. It was senior year. We were it was a couple days before graduation. The hockey guys invited me over. They said, hey, most of them are Canadian. Like, hey, buddy, heard you're the one that breaks all the tables. We got a few we don't want to take back. I'm like, okay, sure. First one, regular standard folding table that you see at tailgates, no problem. Second one was wooden table, a little bit of metal frame on the outside, but no big deal. That popped off, no problem. The third one was a coffee table, and I was obliterated enough to try it, and the right side of my hip has never been the same.
Oh,
And like a wooden coffee table, like that thick oak wood or
Very
something.
thick,
Oh,
very thick, yeah. So I went 2 for 3 that night.
yeah,
honestly,
like
now go ahead.
if it doesn't have like four legs on each side and it has a middle piece, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Table
No,
smash.
and honestly, that brings us to our next point. I'm gonna let Yasin take it away, but I know that's not the only time you almost broke your hip on the table.
Right. So there's another video that went pretty viral of you. I mean, how'd you feel about becoming a trend and feel about this video that we're about to watch actually? If Melo's got it pulled up.
Yes. Let's go ahead and play this next video, which is the actual viral video that basically attributes you to being coined the person who's starting this trend.
Yeah, you're up. The Bills make me water.
The table won.
Oh man. Oh,
The
I
table
can feel the
definitely
pain.
won.
Yeah, that was not one of my finest moments, and of course that had to be the one that goes viral.
I think that's why it went viral.
It
You
did.
on the floor, leaning over in pain.
I'll give it the front flip was still nice. Like it's still a
Still
good,
perfect form.
good form for a front flip. Like you actually got it right on the back in the middle, but it just didn't break.
That's what I knew. I tell you, right before, because someone came over, they were like, "Hey, you're the guy. You and your friends are the ones that always go through tables, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." They go, "You got one?" She go, "Yeah." When I jump off the back of the truck, I'm looking at the height of the truck. I'm feeling out the table. This isn't high enough. I go, I better make it at least look good. So that's why I threw the front flip in there, knowing I probably wasn't going to break the table. Just add a little bit of flair into it, and of course, like any good, kayfabe wrestler, they're gonna pretend they're hurt and lay down there, like, oh, make it look better.
Pretend.
I mean, I was fine.
Yeah.
I was fine. I was good.
Pretend.
Might have felt it years later, but at the time, wasn't feeling anything.
Of course, the adrenaline.
So how obliterated were you on this one?
Actually, not too bad. So that was the Patriots game. It was September 20th, 2015. I think we were like either 1-0 or 2-0. And I think it was just kind of the beginning of like the rise of Barstool and Portnoy was there. So there's a lot of hype of like,
That's right. He's a Boston fan. Yep.
Yeah. So he comes in and there's a lot of videos, and it was included in one of the mashup videos. And it had a bunch of other antics too, like people, doing dizzy bats, falling into stuff, yelling at them. But if you notice that video, there is no other table breaking attempt. It is just mine. But Barstool had posted originally on the Instagram, just like their team, try so hard, fail every time. And every person in Buffalo following Barstool saw that and thought, that's not going to happen. We're better than that. And here we are.
And now all tables are being obliterated in our presence.
Yeah, they literally have to stop selling them when we go out of town for games. We saw that in Jacksonville. So
100%, man. I mean,
I've heard of those stories where like out of town places like Home Depot, they won't sell tables anymore on Sundays. When Bills fans come around.
It's true.
Yeah, no, I remember that with that Jacksonville game. That was pretty wild.
And I was talking about the Bills, how all those lonely moments we had, but they've always had like some of the greatest fans that like football's ever known, like some of the most true fans, and that shows that like you're willing to like literally put your body on the line for your team just to show how much you care about your team, because that's what it's about, really.
It is. I think it started off just as trying to pass the time when we're probably going to lose. Of course, a little bit of internet clout, I'm sure, helps everybody out when they're like, I want to make it I want to make it viral. And so it just became one up, okay, now we're going to do backflips through the tables. Now we're going to light the tables on fire. There was never an end in sight. And now it's almost like a rite of passage. People are baptizing their children through styrofoam tables.
That's true.
It's kind of crazy.
Yes, I've seen those trends. The little kids just putting them through the yes, it's pretty adorable, but
they haven't
it's
even
so
taken
funny,
their first steps yet.
But they're already smashing through tables.
Good question though. What's the tallest like you've like the highest you've jumped from on the table?
I have jumped out of a tree before. That one wasn't recorded. Again, that was before, people were kind of like keen to like recording everything. So that's unfortunate because that was a good one. I have jumped off the top
I'm sure
of
you
my
got like a
friend's
lot more.
loft.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just climbed the tree. Got up
I'm
to
sure
the
you got
top.
a lot more that are not recorded that were like really crazy than the ones that were.
Yeah, 80% of them probably. Maybe even more. It was tough to go through and try to find a highlight reel for you guys because some of the best ones aren't on there. But I'd say average height maybe 10 to 15 feet. The good zone, it's probably around like 10 to 15, and you're gonna break the table then.
Right. That's great.
And that just lets you know you have a lot of table breaking experience, that you have all these expertise down on what's a good table to break. And it's funny because I wanted to bring up just how it all became coined. You mentioned Barstool. We've been mentioning Athletic, how they pretty much travel to Buffalo just to meet you.
Yeah.
And they even tried to disprove that you're the person.
Yeah.
But before we even get into that, you mentioned just going to, traveling and pretty much going out and just the fanatics that you guys have. And I actually want to show another video, which is the third video we have, which is you at that Jacksonville Jaguar games. Obviously, they can't go travel, buy out tables from everywhere, and not have you, the person who started it, be there. So it's funny that we talk about that dedication, and we actually have a video of you at that game. And for me, I actually love this video because while it might not have been the highest, I just think the fact that they picked it, you'll just see it. Like it's dedication in this video. You guys will see right now.
See it.
Always the low quality.
Yeah, that kid got scared.
Now that one, you seem like you were fine.
And to be back in Jacksonville.
Now that one, it seemed like you were fine.
Stood up like a champ. That was
Well,
Like
you'd
there
think.
was nothing. But
Problem was that-
they literally lifted you up
Yeah.
just to have you throw on the table.
So that was the night before the game, and everywhere we went that night in Jacksonville, there's just thousands of Bills fans everywhere. So that I feel bad. I mean, the strip mall that was in got destroyed. I mean, there was literally 2,000 Bills fans there that night. They
That's
drank out every bar and every convenience store in that plaza. So, but that table was actually covered in glass in bottles. So after I got up, somebody like tapped me on the shoulder. He goes, "Hey, you're bleeding," and like all of my arm was all cut up from the bottles on the table. So that was fun.
Oh wow, that is crazy though. Like yeah, I've been down to Jacksonville like during a Sunday, not during like a Bills game, but I know I've been to like just a lot of experiences with Bills fans, and even in college, and all my friends were Bills fans. I know how crazy we get, and those
Did
look
y'all
like.
win that game?
I wish I was there.
No.
That was,
No.
y'all lost that, right? Yeah.
10-3. We drove to that through like a couple winter storms on the way down, way up. So it was about 35.
Was that the one
total
where it was the
hours.
first playoff?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, the first playoff game in what, 20 years? Or
Yeah,
18?
since the
18,
Music
I
City
think.
Miracle, yeah.
Yep.
18.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
great
But
one.
now, y'all in there, y'all doing fine.
A lot of expectations though. Now I
Lot.
have to lower them. It kind of like it's like a balancing act. For a while, I'd be like, we're going to the Super Bowl, knowing we would be 6-10, and now it's like, come on, everyone, chill out. We're not that good. Being like, I really hope we're that good.
Yes.
No, I hear you.
So with that hope, I mean, like, what do you, what do you think about the Bills this season? Since we're talking about them, do you have hope for them this season? Obviously, like we've seen in the past, like they like to start out hot and then sometimes it doesn't turn out well. But like I said, the past few years, they've given Western New York hope, and they've given all Bills fans around the country, around the world, hope. And this year they are one of the favorites. I think in Vegas they were the favorites for Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
That's one of the first times ever. Well,
So I mean, I'd say obviously expectations are high when you have everyone saying, "Oh, you're the Super Bowl favorite." All these sports talk people saying we're going to pick you for the Super Bowl, but to me, it's just it's the way they say it. I mean, it's cliche. It's week by week, play by play, whatever they always like to say. That's how the Bills really are, though. I feel like they just care about winning. They don't want to like obviously blow people out. It's great. They don't care how it happens. They just want it to happen. I think that's how most fans feel now. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool if Josh Allen won an MVP. It'd be cool if he broke, more records, if we won, every game, whatever. It's just like, just win the last game of the year. That's all we want.
I don't know. I got other fans, actually named Jordan, that just swears it's the best team in the world. And after last week's scraping of his Rams,
Yeah, my Rams.
She already wrote
week
the
one.
Super
Week
Bowl.
one.
She already wrote the Super Bowl ticket.
Wow. That's bold.
Yo, I remember she was like, "There's no team that could beat us," and I pulled down my camera. I was like, "Say that again." It was like when y'all lose 14-5, 14-6 to the Jets. I was like, I need to see this because it's the Bills we're talking about.
But not as bad as getting a tattoo on your body like in the beginning of the season for a Super Bowl championship.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we had a Celtics player do that.
Like I know there's people doing that already.
A Celtics fan got the 2022 championship banner. That didn't age well.
That's more dedicated than going through a table, I have to say. That's
100% more
ridiculous
dedicated.
fandom.
You put your body on the line more, I feel like.
I do know someone who actually I don't think she'll care. Same person. It's happened to be named Jordan. I actually have the number 17 tattooed on her ass cheek.
I was thinking about honestly, it's really funny you said that because last night we were talking about we were out for someone's birthday, like let's go get tattoos, and I was like, I'll get 17 right here on my wrist. I had a few, but just to sit up there, like when you go to the game, being like, I'm here for him, and then you're like, and you think about it when you're sober, up, you're like, probably best we didn't do that.
She's this close to getting 88.
Well, even it out. 17, 88
exactly,
on one
exactly.
cheek on the other. Nice. I know what you're talking about. Maybe we'll have to ask and see. See that sometime.
At this point, you know what I'm talking about. So what's your God's honest prediction? How far you think the Bills are going this year?
The only thing is like it scares me. It's the Chiefs. I mean, it's like you have a team that is built to beat anybody. Clearly, I mean, no offense to the Rams. I mean, but we look like a way better team, and they're a great team. It's like, what is that? I mean, there was so much hype going into that game, and then now after it was like, shit. Now the hype is actually
that was
real.
Von Miller. That's what that was.
Von is huge.
That pass rush was ridiculous.
Yeah, tearing up offensive lines. Like I think that's the one thing you guys are gonna have this year. A lot of sacks on a lot of teams.
And the fact that they didn't blitz once, I mean, that was 7 sacks without blitzing once.
That was just that was just straight the lineman. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Von Miller looking like he's literally second, third year Von Miller with like how active he was, which is good. Which is why we rotate the D, keep him fresh, keep him healthy. Yeah.
I'll be honest, like when he got signed, I wasn't like very happy about the contract that the Bills gave him. I really thought it was a little bit too much. But now, seeing this game already, like he's already way above my expectations. So he deserves it.
Jaw dropped. I was like, whoa. First of all, I was like, we just signed Von Miller. I'm like, okay, how much they get him for? And they say, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So they gave him that kind of money. All right. Let's see what happens.
Or something like that.
So far, so good.
So far, it's great. So far, which is amazing.
So really you said the Chiefs scare you.
That's
so you
really,
think you're going to face them in the conference champion, and it's between them two?
If it's at home, there's no way. If we get the number 1 seed, we're going to the Super Bowl. That's the most confident I feel about the team. If we get the number 1 seed, it's scary because the 2 number 1 seeds lost last year in the playoffs, the first round. So that's a little scary. But it feels better to know that going into our own home turf, that fan base, probably be $750 tickets for that game. That I think would be, if we end up going through the middle of the season, like you said, sometimes we start hot, end awful, or start awful, end hot. If we can just stay consistent, find our ways, we have a tough schedule, get into the playoffs, get as many home games as you can, and just beat the fucking Chiefs, man. Just,
Yeah, no, that 13 seconds, like, to me, honestly, I can understand, like, I was with Bills fans and they were crying. They were literally crying. But for me, I was screaming, not because, like, I wasn't just happy for the Chiefs. It just was the best football game I've ever seen. It was just ridiculous. Yeah.
Game.
So I hear you. And here's the thing. I think you guys, for the first time, and now some of my friends, I always tell people I'm an undercover Bills fan because my family are Bills fans. A lot of my friends are Bills fans. I even lived in Buffalo, 5 minutes from the stadium for like 2 years.
Oh, nice.
But as an adult who don't have a football team, it's always been hard for me to just choose the Bills because like they've always have a history of just letting you down when it matters the most. And like I watch the heartbreak of everyone that's around me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll cheer for them and root for them, but like they're not about to be my team. So it's a little too late for me to jump on any bandwagon. I can see that, but this year I will 100% admit that I will back them, and I got them going to the Super Bowl this year. I think the Chiefs got a little bit worse, losing a big key on defense and offense, and you already had one of the worst defenses in the league. Yeah, they got the offense was so explosive, like you said. They pretty much have a team that can beat anybody. But I think the Bills are just so good everywhere on that ball, man, and they just really improved a lot of key pieces, except for the running back. I don't understand why they won't get a running back, but other than that, it's damn near the best team on paper.
So I would say this: the running backs they don't get enough play just because we never run them. Like Devin Singletary could average 5 or 6 yards a carry a game, obviously because he only gets like 8 carries. But it's like you just got Josh Allen. He's a centaur. He's half man, half horse.
But it's gonna happen to him what happened to Cam Newton. Everyone thought Cam Newton was invincible, and them injuries screwed him.
He's still young, and I think he can at least hold it down for now. He knows how to actually like get down on the ground. You know, he knows how to slide, which is
he's learning.
But
he was making some dumb. He was making some dumb choices the last couple of years.
He does that, but most of the time he knows when
he's learning.
Going towards the sideline, he'll do that. But if he's like in the middle of the field, he'll know how to slide. But for me with the Bills, I mean, I have people around me that are Bills fans. My brother's a huge Bills fan. He has been for a while, and I've been a Rams fan since like 1998. So since they were Los Angeles before they went to
Mark Bulger years, right?
Mark Bulger, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
Greatest show on turf. Yeah, I had a Marshall Faulk jersey back then too. I was a Rams fan for about a season. I probably cursed you guys in that Super Bowl against Brady. That was probably my fault.
Oh man, that was don't bring those memories up because I talked about that on this podcast before. That 2001 Super Bowl. We, at least now we're looking good. We got our Super Bowl again in LA, but as far as the Bills in the AFC, I think that you guys plugged a lot of holes, like especially that middle linebacker position needed to be plugged, and you see also Hyde is playing just like he did last year as one of the best outside defenders that you're gonna have in the secondary. I think that with the Josh Allen running as much as he does, I don't think this year is going to be a problem with him getting injured. I still see he's in perfect condition. And the only trouble you guys are really going to have are teams like, the Raiders, the Chargers, and like you said, the Chiefs, possibly.
And the Bengals.
The Bengals, we'll talk. I mean, we could see later with them, but I mean, the way
you put the Raiders over the Bengals for giving the Bills trouble.
Well, no, I think now, especially even like the Ravens could be another team in the AFC, but the Bills do look like the top dog. Even though what we saw with Kansas City, we saw what they did in Week 1 against Arizona. I still think that the Bills, they came in as the top dog. Vegas put them there, and I do believe that they're gonna have like a number 5 ranked offense in the end of the season, and number top ranked defense in the end of the season. So they're gonna be pretty even, pretty balanced off, and I do think that they're gonna make it at least to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think the Chargers. I would throw the Chargers in there probably over the Raiders, and the Bengals are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sold on their coach. He had a pretty boneheaded clock play there the last game that kind of made him potentially lose.
I mean, that was his issue last year as well, though.
Yeah,
that was huge. Yeah, and also another issue was Joe Burrow getting sacked all the time, and you see that at all. And he was the number one in sacks last year.
That offensive line against us.
They can't stand. Yeah, you're right.
I thought the Rams' offensive line was bad. Like we lost Whitworth, like one of the best left tackles in a game, and then our left guard as well. So our left side was terrible. That's why you guys had 7 on us. But against the Bengals, I think you guys can get like 10, easy.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. So obviously. That was a pleasure, Jordan. Thank you for letting our fans get a little insight in who you are,
Real
what
quick,
you mean to the Bills franchise. Go ahead.
Before we get into some other stuff, going like through social media and stuff, how do you feel like about like all the social media and like the influence that you've had on other Bills fans and on also like other people table smash? I'm sure other people watch the vids and they go crazy just like I did. Like when I saw the video, like they love what they see and they get really hype about it. Like how do you feel about like all the influence and maybe like
honestly for a while I'd be like, why am I never gonna get credit for this? Like no one's ever gonna know it's me because now it's just a thing, and it bothered me for a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna whatever. I'll tell people the story. I've told a million people the story. There's people who were there, and just real quick, how I got hooked up with the Athletic. Brother Bill, the local influencer who does all the Bills videos. He's actually sponsored, I think, now by Blue Light.
Yeah,
they had reached out to him, and they said, "Do you know anything about the original story of table breaking?" And he just straight up said, "You got to talk to Jordan Grills. He was the one. I was there before he was Brother Bill, and he will still vouch to this day." Yes. So after that,
you got some outlets who established you as the guy.
Awesome.
A lot of people after the article was posted were commenting on there saying that you're full of shit. People were doing that before, and I was like, show me the videos. Was anyone really doing that as much as they are now, or even they were like after a few years after it came out? It wasn't.
I haven't seen like proof of like basically what you're saying. Like I seen people commenting. Like I remember one thing that's like I seen a comment from a couple of those that we've been season ticket holders for the last 17 years. All of a sudden, a couple years ago, when this became a thing, we were so baffled at where we were missing all this because we've been sitting, I think it said Abbott Field for the last 17 years, and we'd never seen no one do anything like this. And then all of a sudden, you can't even go to a game without people smashing tables. So it basically, even if people did smash tables, the crave didn't start until 2015. You're the first recorded proof. And by the end of that year, there was literally dozens upon dozens of videos of just people smashing tables, only Bills fans. So like it took off like wildfire in that first year alone, but 100%, like you said, bring me the proof.
Yep.
I can tell that you're a pro and you've been doing it for a long time.
Clearly a pro.
You're a pro.
Lead with the elbow or the ass. Either elbow or ass.
Like it's not like it's your first rodeo. Like you've been doing it for a while. Like that's why I can tell.
I'm semi-retired. I will come out of retirement if we just make the Super Bowl. I have the table ready. It's been in my garage the last few years. Just make the Super Bowl. I'm going through it.
So I think I'm gonna start a petition, and we need to get to the AFC Championship game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, come on. We can't have the Super Bowl, obviously in Buffalo, but that's the closest we can get. We all agree. We think the Bills are getting there. We hope they get the first seed, obviously. But yeah, I think we're gonna make it an effort to start a petition to get the man, the myth, the legend, and to get through a table smash with Josh Allen. Josh Allen actually said if he wins a Super Bowl, he'll do a table smash. I think it's only right if he does it with the person who originated the trend.
My heart would probably give out halfway through. I would just be like, that's it.
So I'm gonna have our people reach out to his people, and we're gonna try to talk it out. Yeah, I don't know if you know, we were a small podcast, but like we got connects. You know.
Thank you.
Other than airwaves, anyone else can pick it up and hear it, and now they can take it.
Yo, Josh, I know you listen to us, bro. Like, pick my man Jordan. Y'all make it to the Super Bowl.
Let's do this.
Y'all both going.
I'll show you I'll just teach him. He could show me a thing or two about throwing a football. I'll teach him how to break a table. There's always something that you're better at than someone else. Never forget that.
There you go, Josh. Never forget, Josh, who's better at you at breaking through tables, Josh Allen.
This guy right here.
Yep. All right. So, like I said, it was a pleasure to have you. But since it's the beginning of the NFL season for us, we actually wanted to take a time to throw out our NFL awards prediction. And if you don't mind, you can pretty much join us through that.
Yeah.
We're transition into the NFL awards. We're going to talk about everything from, obviously MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, coach of the year,
and comeback player of the year.
and comeback player of the year,
Um,
of course.
yeah. So obviously,
I've
I'll
always
start
forget
off.
that one. That one just came back to me.
No,
It came back.
I usually forget the coach of the year, because I only care about the players. But I start off. I'll let you guys know what my MVP prediction is, and you guys let me know what yours is. So for this year, we spent a lot of time talking about the Bills. I ain't gonna lie. My MVP prediction is Josh Allen. I
Whoa.
would have never thought I would have picked him. Even a couple weeks ago, I was honestly still thinking between him and Mahomes. But at the end of the day, he got some weapons. He runs, he throws, and with that defense, being able to basically give him more opportunity to make plays, I really think he's gonna throw up. I'm not gonna say historic numbers. I don't think that far, but he's gonna have a
Right.
really, really good season, both running and throwing. So for that reason, also like I think Tom Brady's a second for me, and Rodgers maybe, but I don't think he has the weapons anymore. So it was between Mahomes, Brady, and Josh Allen. I got Josh Allen this year.
Wow.
Nice. That's a great pick, actually. That's a great pick. Jordan, you want to take the next one? You want to take the MVP?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I got some surprises on here. We
really?
agreed to do this. I wrote it down before the season, so there's a couple on here that I could already immediately cross off. But I'll go with it anyways. MVP, Herbie, Justin Herbert,
Wow.
for the reason that I think he is going to break records this year.
That's
For passing,
Yeah.
funny.
yeah, he's gonna
It's
be
the extra
slinging this
game,
year.
but
Yeah, he's gonna be slinging this year.
I really thought you were gonna go with
Yo,
Josh.
that's a surprise.
And
I thought he was gonna go with Joshy too.
I got all surprises. I couldn't pick all homers on here.
because
Of course I do.
my pick of this year's MVP is actually Justin Herbert, and I've been
Nice.
saying this. I've been saying this for at least like a month. I think the Chargers right now they're literally they're set. They got Eckler in the backfield. They got Mike Williams, and they got Allen on the outside. So they got two great receivers. Obviously, he's gonna be slinging it. That West Coast offense is gonna help him. They're gonna be. I think he's gonna possibly get 5,000 yards this year. Probably like 49, 50, like close to 5,000.
Let's see. What's the record for touchdowns? It was Peyton or was it Tom?
No, actually, Mahomes beat it. With
Oh, Mahomes did.
Mahomes beat it, but Peyton was 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Herbert goes over, even though Mahomes threw 5
really?
week
So you
one.
think 56? He gets over 56. Wow, he could do it. Honestly, I think it'll be like close to like around the 50s, but not maybe like 51 if anything. Yeah, but still, that's gonna be a great thing for him. He's third year. Obviously, he's very talented as well. But my second.
No,
would
Peyton
be
Manning still got 55. Mahomes got 50. Tied Tom Brady for
he
second.
tied Tom Brady for second.
Oh, okay.
Said he got 56 because
So
maybe
55 is still the record.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking total touchdowns with the rushing. That's why.
No, technically Mahomes is second now because he tied Tom Brady. So that's what it was. He passed Tom, or he got Tom Brady second. So yeah, so 55 is still that number to beat. So y'all both think Justin Herbert's getting that?
If
Yeah.
he does, that's how he wins the MVP. Well over 5,000 yards, 50. We'll say 57 touchdowns. But again, I think what he had like maybe 3 or 4 this past week. He just throws the most. He throws the prettiest.
He does. He does.
So
He's a
nice.
nice thrower.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, if any two touchdowns get over 50, it's gonna be Mahomes and Justin Herbert. I think that Josh Allen's gonna get a lot more rushing touchdowns this year.
Total.
Like,
Yep.
obviously, like in the goal line. So I do have him as like second in my MVP voting. I think he's gonna have an amazing season. But with him, he's probably gonna have another like 600 rushing yards, another 6 or 7 touchdowns rushing, and probably 40 passing touchdowns. So he's gonna be up there as well.
Okay.
I think after this extra game came like last year, a lot of people you're gonna see outstanding numbers like in quarterbacks. You're gonna see a lot more 5,000 yard quarterbacks
And rushing records as well.
Yeah,
We don't have the backs right now because it's a throwing league, and a lot of them aren't running their backs like the workhorse. But like Jonathan Taylor, give him a full season, and he could break a rushing record.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Derrick Henry almost did without that, 17.
Without the extra game, I know.
Right. So it could happen. definitely could happen. So, I mean, next up we got you want to do defensive player of the year next up?
I could do D player. Yeah. So I got, again, this was before the season started. I really like Nick Bosa strictly because he just plays for a great team that sucked week 1 and he always gets hurt. So I was between that on like comeback player of the year and then defensive player of the year. He's like unstoppable with a really good defense.
Oh yeah.
TJ Watt's like right there, I think, in a way. I mean, Donald's unbelievable. Are they going to give it to him every year? They should.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I saw it. I was like, maybe Bosa, maybe that quick breakout year. He's already better than his brother, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny because, like, again, you stole my pick again. I don't know if you looked at picks.
So those who don't watch our podcast, we never disclose picks or predictions beforehand. So I'm actually they're actually choosing the same people and not knowing.
But I'll be honest,
And I'm not surprised by Yas or by Rado. He does that. Jordan, I'm surprised by you.
Well, no, I was thinking about TJ Watt for a while, just watching, even having to watch the first game, but obviously he's going to be out a while now, at least 6 games they're talking about, so I think he's out of the defensive player of the year conversation. I was obviously thinking about Aaron Donald as well, but I think a little bit of voter fatigue is going to happen, and he might not have as great a year as Bosa is. I think, like you said, he was playing on a team that has a great defense. They didn't have a great game, week 1, but we'll see the rest of the year. I think that he's definitely going to have an amazing year, and he's going to play against the Rams twice, which I've already said that we don't have a great offensive line, so he's going to get a few sacks on us, unfortunately.
And for me, it's an easy choice. You both guys already said it. Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah.
Best defensive player in the league, Aaron Donald. I don't think there's gonna be a photo fatigue. I think without Von Miller, they're going to try to, and they actually did. Not that Aaron Donald showed out, but they throwing a lot of different defensive schemes at teams because they don't have Von Miller to throw on the opposite side of Aaron. So yeah, Aaron's gonna get a little bit more double teams and triple teams, but I think the Rams are gonna be more creative, and he's still gonna get a lot of tackles and things like that. So yeah, I 100% think it's Aaron Donald, hands down. If it's not, I think didn't Watt get injured?
Yeah,
he just got injured.
Season ending though.
No, it was just a few weeks.
6 games.
Yeah.
They said so. He'll be back after 7th game.
But he's also a good candidate as well.
He would have been, like I said. I think he would have been my choice.
Yeah, for sure.
Got injured. I think it's going to be Bosa. But I think that TJ Watt was showing some great signs with that Pittsburgh defense as well. But
that's a fact. So what about offensive player of the year? Why don't you take that away, Rado? Who you got?
Yeah, so I mean, one of my surprise teams of the year was actually the Minnesota Vikings, and I mean, just from week 1, I even said that they were going to be slightly better than Green Bay this year, and just watching them week 1, you saw what they were doing, and surprisingly, it's not Kirk Cousins, but it's actually his wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. He went off, obviously. Oh my God, let me
3 for 3.
That's wild.
No way.
That's wild. I don't believe it.
Yep, I did. That's 3 for 3, guys.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you talk about him a little bit more then. So Justin Jefferson is my pick. I mean, I really thought that Minnesota was gonna do a lot of great things this year, and I had to pick him. I just think that he's gonna be what Jamar Chase was last year, but he's
gonna
better.
be what Cooper Cup was last year because now he's running Cooper Cup scheme.
True, exactly. Very, very true. Very true. Cooper Cup scheme. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, I think he's right now, as young as he is, he's got so much left in the tank. He could really be, and there's a lot of good Vikings receivers, could at least be top 3 Vikings receivers of all time already. Just how good he is.
Wow.
Unbelievably just talented. You throw him the ball that you can't guard him. There's nothing that guy can't do. Deep, over the middle, play out of the slot. It's like, dude.
So you think he's already better than Percy Harvin was in Minnesota? Because I mean,
in Minnesota, Percy Harvin was great in college.
Yeah, that's true. In college, he was probably even a little bit better than he was in the NFL. But so you got, obviously, there's this Chris Carter and Randy Moss as the 2.
Yeah.
Minnesota, then he's got to be the 3rd, right?
Yeah, I took that one before this week too. I was just like, dude, I feel like he's gonna go off the whole year.
So you already put him above Diggs?
Yeah.
And Thielen?
Yeah, definitely
definitely.
Thielen.
Still there. Nobody
I
like
got Thielen on my
Thielen.
fantasy team. But yeah.
Yeah,
Thielen
trust
had
me.
like
Yeah.
I think he had 9 games for 100 yards in a row. Like,
I know, yeah, I know. With the nobody for quarterback too.
Those two, and the thing, because like Diggs and Jefferson, they're going to get compared because that's who we traded away the pick that they got Jefferson. You never really know. It probably could have panned out, but it's the younger receiver coming in. We just wanted to get the seasoned vet, the tested vet who already knows the league.
No, you
and
needed
never
him
know.
better. No, you needed him more than Jefferson.
Have
You
you ever
needed
seen a
someone who's
draft or
already
like
established.
a trade that works out better for both teams? And like they always say, oh, it worked out for both teams, but I think it did.
I think it did.
They try to say that about Luka and Trey Young.
Yeah, in NBA, that's true.
In NBA, they try to say that where the Hawks needed that shoot first point guard, and the Mavs are looking for their next international star. So they definitely play that. Yeah.
Dallas won a little bit more there too, but
So
I don't know much on basketball. I'll just say this real quick. I was a Hawks fan. I liked Luka. Got Trey Young. They're both sick.
Yeah.
Trey Young's entertaining.
It's hard to I
they're
think
like literally one and 1A. They're both like
exactly. Yeah. And depending on your style of ball, you would want one more or over the other. So
he's from my side of the world, Eastern European boys. Like,
yeah, that's why the Mavs really wanted him too. They really love that Eastern European connection. Well, clearly I should never even been part of this podcast, so you guys are just basically having this award prediction show by yourselves.
I mean, we need some different.
I'm not even picking the same ones. But my pick for this year was honestly 100% so easy. I'm going to go with the person that was in the top 10 rushing last year that was injured for half the season, Derrick Henry. You let that man have anything close to an average season, and he's going to be the best running back in the league. And while a lot of MVPs go to quarterbacks, basically, I think he's going to be a shoo-in for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That's
like him better than Taylor?
So it depends because obviously it's only week 1, but that injury kind of looked like he slowed down a little bit. But yes, I actually predicted Taylor to not take a bump up this year.
See, I don't think so either because I think Matt Ryan's going to be throwing a little bit more. But with Tennessee and Derrick Henry, I just
what else they got to do?
That's the problem. I feel like they don't have receivers out there that they're going to be stacking the box a lot more on him this year, so he might not get as many yards as
Derrick Henry.
I know he can maul through them, but
right,
they're going to be stacking.
And that's the thing. Even if he just has an average season, the only one that will have a better season than him is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it's easy, like you said, 1A, 1B.
Yeah,
the Hilliard kid though looked really good.
I'll be honest, like if this guy that I'm about to say stays healthy for the rest of the year, I think he could be in that conversation too. Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, they're going to use him as a passer and a runner, so he's going to get a lot of yards, a lot of.
It's not even if he stay healthy; it's when he's getting injured again. Like I'm so over that man. He screwed me over in so many fantasy leagues. I'm just so done with him.
That's literally why I had to give my soliloquy before I said his name, because I know what it's a big if.
Yeah,
I know
knows that's coming.
Yeah. All right. So Jordan, why don't you give us your defensive rookie of the year? Who do you got?
So there's no way anyone has this pick because I went home on this one, and it's not Kyer Elam. It's Christian Benford.
Oh.
Remember the name? Fifth round pick, 6th round pick. Got drafted, 5 rounds after our number 1 pick, Kyer Elam, and started over him in the Rams game. Played more snaps. I believe he played more snaps than Kyer Elam and was taken 4 rounds after him. Don't matter.
What is his position? I'm trying to remember.
Corner.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, I did see. Yeah, okay. And he was your 5th round pick?
Yeah, I think 5th or 6th.
And he played more than your 1st round pick. Because you also had White gone, so you definitely needed the bodies that game.
Yeah, and that was like the big story before was like, are they going to be able to, keep up now that they have Cooper Kupp? I think Von Jackson was out or whatever. He was out, but obviously Allen Robinson or whatever the hell he was.
Yeah.
But they played great.
Yes, they did. Okay. Yeah, no, that's a
6th round.
Right, and that could be a good, especially if you keep playing in that slot position over the middle of the field. You could definitely get a lot of action there, especially with the Bills team.
Remember the name.
What Diggs was in Dallas last year as a corner, like blitzing and getting interceptions, then that would be amazing for the Bills to get a guy that can do both. Because I did see or hear about him a little bit. But Melo, who you got for your defensive rookie of the year?
So I got a Lions pick, defensive lineman Aiden Hutchinson.
Nice.
Hands down, best lineman in the draft. With a team like the Lions, he's gonna get nothing but opportunities to get sacks and get tackles and tackles for loss. So while I do think some other people like Sauce Gardner, I think can be one of those. I just don't think he's gonna get a lot of action. And unfortunately, in action for cornerbacks, while it looks good, it doesn't win you awards. So I think it's going to go to a lineman or a linebacker. And right now, I think the best person that has a chance of getting that is Aiden Hutchinson.
That's a great pick. And honestly, I watched Hard Knocks this year, and they obviously did it on the Detroit Lions. And watching him on Hard Knocks, he was balling out there, even during the preseason, doing his thing. Obviously, he was getting sacks. He looked pretty good.
He was the most pro-ready lineman coming out of college.
It looks very pro-ready, and you're right about him.
Like it too.
Yeah.
Just confident.
Oh yeah.
And
so about you, Rado?
I definitely see him being a defensive player of the year in the future, but like a for the league. But as a rookie of the year, I gotta go with Sauce Gardner, man. I think this guy is literally the next Darrelle Revis, and I really believe in it. I think that he's gonna get a few interceptions this year. They're gonna throw his way because a lot of people are gonna throw on the Jets early. I do think he's gonna get some stops, and he's gonna show out. With a name like Sauce, he has to. But watching him, in college, seeing what he can bring, and I do think that the Jets, obviously, they really have nothing else around them, but he's going to be a bright spot in that Jets organization. And
I thought they had a good draft, honestly. As a Bills fan, I thought their draft was like, whoa, they're going to be a good team 2-3 years down the road.
The best draft.
It might be better than the Patriots this year, honestly. They might be.
It is funny because obviously, Sauce Gardner, you picked him. He can be a choice, but I'm just gonna use that as a chance to go into the offensive player of the year because I literally couldn't choose between basically the Jets when it came to offensive rookie of the year. Like I don't know who y'all chose, but it came down to pretty much Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson for me, and even the other running back. So I'm just gonna skip the queue. I picked Breece Hall. I think that running back's going to get the most opportunity, and he's pretty much going to have the best chance on just having the most yards on a pretty much other depleted Jets team. And like I said, I honestly do want to take a chance to acknowledge that the Jets 100% had the best draft in the NFL this year. Yeah.
That's your old team, Melo. You got to acknowledge him, right?
So, all right, Jordan. So
I didn't know that. The plot
yes. So let me tell you how I became a Jets fan. And I think I told this on the podcast once, but so I'm in college. I'm going to Cuca College, Bill country. Everyone's a Bill fan. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a NFL team. I was more into college sports. So freshman year, we're playing strip beer pong, and yeah, it's weird to play, but right.
The listeners want to know now.
Exactly. So yeah, she was a baddie too. So we playing. We took a little intermission. We sat down, I think, chilling, smoking, drinking. And like I said, every single person's a Bills fan. Guys sitting down, we're talking sports. We started talking football. Obviously we're talking about the Bills, and then he's like, "What about you? Like, do you have a team?" Before I got to tell him no, I don't have a team. I don't really do pro sports. I'm only do college. This girl that had nothing but a shirt on, and I literally mean nothing but a shirt on, comes and sits on my lap and says, "Oh, he's a Jets fan. He likes Mark Sanchez." So I actually am a USC football fan.
She gave you the bumble.
So I'm like, you know what? I do fuck with Mark. I do like. Now, mind you, I did not think he was a pro-ready quarterback. But for college, and not even that, for college, he was my least favorite quarterback because he didn't even win us a championship. He got us a fucking Rose Bowl.
Yeah, for USC, I was gonna say Matt Leinart.
That's what I'm saying. So he wasn't even the best quarterback. But at the end of the day, she said he's a Jets fan. He liked Mark Sanchez. I was in no position to argue. The quarterback of the Jets had a connection to my college school, so I'm like, yeah, She's
my
right.
question
I like
for you
the
is,
Jets.
did you fumble that butt?
I ran into the lineman. Let's just say that. But
Just like Mark would have wanted.
exactly. So
Man.
after that, I was a Jets fan for like 6 years.
I was gonna say you
Hated,
had to just
hated every fucking second of it. Then finally one day I was just like, I'm a grown ass man. Like I cannot do this to myself.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't. So that for it's been 4 years, I don't have a team. It's been hard picking a team because anytime I want to pick a team, they get good. He can attribute. Last year, I was just like, all right, I want to pick the Bengals. I think they're gonna be my new team because I used to love them when they had Chad Ochocinco. Then they fucking go to the Super Bowl. It's like, well, I can never go pick the Bengals now. So that's why I always say I'm a cover Bills fan, but being a Jets fan for 5 years, I just do nothing but shit on the Bills.
That was Rex Ryan era, right?
Yes, that was.
Yep.
Yeah. Rex Ryan, Darrell Revis, AFC championships.
Great
Like,
team.
wasn't bad, but it went so downhill from there. And that was with the whole organization. Like it was just so bad. So even then, like they didn't even give they didn't even give Bowles a chance. They didn't even give there was just so many things they didn't do wrong the whole Tim Tebow era. Like it was just so bad. So yeah, so I actually used to be a Jets fan. And that's my little story.
Like I've always said, man, you got to stick with your team through the good times and the lows.
That's
like
not my team.
I've been a Rams fan since like '98. Like, yeah, we were the greatest show on turf at one point, but there was like after the 2005, 2006, like early 2010s, we were terrible, and I had to stay with my team. I had to support them. Even the Steven Jackson era when he was running back on our team there. It didn't turn out that well like a lot of people thought. So I stayed with him, and now, back to the glory land we come. So
hey, but see, that's me with my Celtics. I bleed green. But like after a couple years, I really was like, yo, I got pressured into this choice, and like I don't even talk to that bitch no more. Like we're not about to do this. No.
I have no connection to the Jets.
I don't even have this. She's not even married and having kids and shit. And I'm over here being a miserable Jets fan, all because of one good night. No, I'm done with this. So yeah, so that's how it started.
Not a bad tale.
Right.
Yeah, listen, it was at the time the decision I didn't understand the repercussions that I would have to face for the next 5 years on just allowing that one thing to happen.
You're saying
I didn't get it.
One back, you would not talk to her. You would choose the girl that had like the Bills. Like
no, I'll just tell her when she sat on my lap that no, I'm not a Jets fan. And then I probably still could have ended the night in the same way. But my dumb ass just say yeah, and then just started telling people I was a Jets fan. Depressing. So yeah, so I got Brees Hall offensive rookie of the year.
Back to the offensive rookie of the year. At least you weren't an offensive rookie that time. Now let's go back to this conversation though. Like that was a good pick from you. I actually think that it's gonna be a rookie wide receiver this year, and I actually picked this guy. I even talked about him like in our other episode when we were talking about the AFC previews and the NFC previews, and I think it's gonna be Jahan Dotson from Washington, the Commanders. I think he's really good receiver. I think that Carson Wentz he doesn't have too much to throw to other than him and McLaurin, so I do think he's gonna get a lot of passes thrown to him, easily like 800 to 1,000 yards this year. I could see him having, and I think he could be a good choice for offensive rookie.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Definitely got a quarterback that's gonna throw to him for sure. What about you, Jordan?
Who you got?
Man, I thought that was going the same direction again, but another rookie in the NFC who I thought was the best wide receiver in the draft, not named Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave.
Yeah.
So
insane.
I just love the way he played in college. He's so shifty. He's gonna get a ton of catches, and Jameis Winston is still a competent quarterback if given a little bit of time. He looked good. Olave looked good. I thought he was by far the best one that was going to fall somewhat in the draft. I don't even know where he went, honestly, in the first. Did he go in the first?
11th. He went
11th. He won.
Okay. I thought he was the best player coming out of college. He's going to a franchise that, again, the big indoors thing. He's going to get a lot of chances to make some plays. Jameis is going to chuck it up there to him.
That's a good point.
I like it.
Yeah, that was one of my thoughts too as well. He was my second choice for offensive rookie of the year as well. But I think that just because they have Michael Thomas, that he's maybe not going to get as many touches as Dotson is in Washington. But who knows if Carson Wentz is going to be the quarterback in Washington like long term this season. So we'll see what happens there too. But I think that Chris Olave is a great choice. I like
yeah.
He was great.
He was one of my favorite college players. Very electric in college. I still play NCAA 14, but would upgrade it and modify teams and updated rosters. So I just spent my last quarterback with Ohio State, and he was my favorite receiver. Like it was completely ridiculous. I was just trading people, picking the people I wanted, and it was just him in the slot was just ridiculous. So yeah, that's
still
definitely a
Pasta
good choice.
Padre. You get the Pasta Padre list. Is that still the guy that does it? I know that was the old dude that would get you the rosters from NCAA.
So now, and actually I'm about to put a lot of y'all onto some shit. It's basically it's called College Football Revamped, and they literally have its own team. And I'm not even joking. Like the whole game is modded. Like graphics and everything. The tickers, it looks like the ESPN. They spend like every couple months they're coming out with updated patches. Like it's legit like a team of people that does this. And when you open the game, I found this out a couple weeks ago. When you do the modded game and open it up, there's a list of about 30 people that it says sponsored by. One of them is Dwayne Wade.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yes. So I don't know how this is all happening because it's definitely illegal because they're literally modifying the
PlayStation
game.
3? What is it? What do you use?
PC.
That's okay. I was gonna say it gotta be PC.
But you can use a P3.
Yeah.
Like let's say the mods you could do it like there's different versions of the mods for whatever system you're using. That's what I'm saying. It's so like it's way bigger now. Like they got people who like people that we need to update this. Some guy like, give me these 6 colleges. I'll do their uniforms and their uniforms and stadiums, and then like they literally have moderators taking it apart. Like it's gotten so big. Yeah. Wow. So that's where I fell in love with that receiver. But all right, we got 2 more awards because you know us, we can just get off topic and talk about anything. Also, like, because I'm pretty sure Jordan actually has the NCAA 14 because I've been trying to buy it off of him for like a year plus now.
I got 13.
So it's 13 you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's a classic.
It is still a classic. Yes.
With the RG3 on the front of it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yes.
still fired up every now and then. I think I'm in year 2028 in my dynasty with FSU. Only 7 championships. I know that's embarrassing.
Yo,
by that point.
I ain't gonna lie, that is embarrassing.
5-star.
I had to move the sliders, man. I had to move the sliders a little bit.
No.
Too easy.
Yeah.
I have to look into the 2014 one though.
Yeah, 20, and I mean, obviously they're coming out the new one next year, so we'll see. But even now, I still enjoy playing it because like it's that recruiting in that road to glory was so good, so good. So
remind me of old like video games that I love, man. And NFL 2K5 will be forever one of my favorite video games of all time. They just like
that's another classic.
Such a classic with the franchise and everything. They even had revolutionary the helmet cam. Like you can actually play like as a quarterback, wide receiver with a helmet cam. Crazy revolutionary.
Now I remember reading a documentary about how like basically EA started taking over the licenses, and that's where a lot of sports game went to shit. And that was in those early 2000s where we had the double different franchises competing for basketball and football, and basically EA Sports kind of took it all over, but basically decided to keep selling us the same game for the last 20 years. So yeah, that NFL 2K5 was the last good one. Not obviously the graphics wise, but when it came to innovation, like you said, the helmet cam, it was different. It was different. So we lost all that with the monopoly of EA Sports, unfortunately. So Jordan, why don't you let us know who your comeback player of the year is? We got 2 more awards to go through.
All right, I'll go on this one. Jose, who you got here? The comeback player of the year?
Yes. So you want me to go? All right. Mine's is easy. We already talked about it a little bit. He got a nice receiver now that we just talked about coming from college. And like you said, just give him a little time. I think your boy J-Mo is definitely going to be the comeback player of the year. This was a hard choice because like comeback player means either you just weren't that good before or you maybe fell off a little bit. Or we also talked about how some people who just were injured for from a majority of the season or a few weeks from the year before have a chance of being comeback player of the year just for a full season. So there's a lot of good choices here. But J-Mo was actually one of them who did have a good year last year before he got injured. A lot of people don't remember that. He was actually playing very well before he got injured. And like I said, coming back this year, got a little bit more pieces. He looked accurate as hell this week. Obviously threw for a few touchdowns, no picks. So we looking good. So I definitely
He's just
think,
goofy. That's the only thing people really. He's just a goofy guy.
Yo, the one-liners, he was like, oh man, like I be watching random and they always find new ones that are old. And that's the funny part because it's not like he's now continuously saying dumb shit. They just keep finding old dumb shit that we didn't know he said before. Like he's always got some liners like, yeah, once I started paying attention to my body, I really learned how my body work.
He was talking about his elbows, like an anatomy lesson.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Did that man even hear himself?
He's got some of the weirdest antics that we've ever heard. From the crab incident to other stuff. Obviously.
That's the man right there. But yeah, that's who I got, Jameis Winston.
That's a good pick, though. That's a good pick.
The criteria is tough for me because technically he was injured last year, so it should be a shoe-in. I think it might be cheating, but I'll take Lamar. Is it still?
Yeah, no, 100%. If he plays a full year and has close to not even an MVP season, but has a above average season, comeback player of the year is his, 100%.
I also think they would give it to him just because everyone knows that man should be paid. He should have been paid years ago. And they would be like, okay. And I think he's going to ball the fuck out this year. Yeah. I'm afraid of them too. For me, the two teams really in the AFC are Chiefs, Ravens and Ravens got that revenge on their mind too.
Yeah, they do.
When we beat them.
Ravens are a tough team to play when the game counts.
3 weeks, so that's going to be a tough one.
A great game, Bills Ravens.
And your defense going to have a hard trouble keeping Lamar in that pocket.
Yep. For sure. They struggle when the guys get outside. The safeties, I love Jordan Poyer. I hope my girl doesn't hear this because she absolutely loves Jordan Poyer. But there's some games where you can just tell, the endurance isn't quite as there as it used to be before. And when you're chasing Lamar all around, you got to have a spy on him. I love Milano. Edmonds, he's good. He's coming around. I think he tackles a lot more, but he provides a really tough matchup for us.
We always talk about it with the Bengals, Steelers, and Browns, and obviously the Ravens. That division defenses, they built themselves with mobile linebackers because for notoriously it's always been historic in that division that you have to pretty much be able to handle mobile quarterbacks, especially for the last 5 to 7 years. So the Bills are never set up in a division like that, and in the AFC, not many teams are really like that, where you have to fear the run. So no, they are not with the personnel. That is a worrisome matchup.
We'll see now with Von Miller if he can play a spy position. We'll see if he can, hold.
I don't even think that'll be their best option. You want him on that line creating pressure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Milano is the only one I could think that could somewhat stay with him, or maybe bringing in Taron Johnson as a nickel. But
Milano, I think he's not as fast as Lamar Jackson. I think you're going to need a guy that's big that can just have a big presence. But I think Milano's probably your second best choice for me. Yeah, that's.
It all depends on what he likes to do, because every mobile quarterback either likes to run up into the pocket or run out. I'm pretty sure Lamar likes to run out, so they have to pretty much. That's why I think keeping Von Miller and that pressure out, forcing him to come up into that pocket, will allow the slower linebackers to keep on it.
That's what he loves. He loves that outside pressure. And
he loves going finding it. If he could get you behind him and find an angle, it's over. But they need to crowd that and force him up into the pocket.
Mm-hmm. No, I just think Lamar's he's got to have a great year. He bet on himself, but I think he will. He never lacks confidence in any game.
No,
I love that. It's like how Josh is.
He just likes throwing accuracy.
Yeah.
A lot of confidence, but I think I don't know. I disagree with Melo a little bit about throwing accuracy too. I think he's there. I just think he doesn't throw it as deep as other guys. In the AFC like Burrow and Josh Allen, obviously. But I still think that Lamar Jackson's a really good pick, and honestly, if he has a great year, then you might be right about the comeback player of the year. I actually have another guy that was injured last year too, and for a similar reason that you said, I think he's gonna have a great year, and he was injured last year, and that's Christian McCaffrey. I think that he's gonna get the ball a lot this year, passing and running, as long as he doesn't get injured again. I do think he's gonna have a good year. Maybe not good enough to get offensive player of the year, but if Lamar Jackson has a slightly better year than Christian McCaffrey, then they probably would give it to him. Now that I'm thinking about it, but another guy that's going to be off the radar, off many people's radar, I think that Marcus Mariota is going to have a comeback year this year. I think that he's fighting for a job right now, and I just think that in Atlanta,
he got some weapons.
Exactly. He's got offensive weapons. Obviously, that defense is pretty bad, but as far as numbers goes, I do think he's going to put up some numbers. I still see them going 6-10.
They're always going to be throwing.
Yeah.
I had him written down, and I crossed him out, put Lamar. That was the only one I changed.
Nice.
That's funny. No, I definitely Christian McCaffrey, obviously the injury is a problem, but if he does stay healthy, like I can't wait. I hope he stays healthy because I want to see that 1,000 and 1,000. He can be the person that gets that. I want to see that. We just haven't. He's not healthy. So 100%, he could be the most best offensive player in the league, hands down, when it comes to pound for pound when he's healthy. But that's just the issue for that.
Reminds me too as well, and I totally missed this. Wouldn't have thought about it till this weekend. Saquon.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, he looked good.
Really good.
Yes, he did. Definitely comeback player of the year if he has a good year. Yes.
Yeah. Same as C-Mac though. He's got to stay healthy. That's it.
Yep. There's a lot of options, honestly.
That's what I said, because of injuries, and not only that, but just people improving, going to different teams. Like this year, comeback player of the year is probably the hardest it's going to be in a while.
I mean, it could even be Baker Mayfield if he has a great year with the Panthers, but I'm not putting that out there. I'm just saying. Out there, though. I mean, even Taylor, in Jacksonville, like if Lawrence balls out too, he can have Lawrence player of the year.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like anyone who played below average last year is eligible for this award, 100%. All you gotta do is play above. So yeah, controversy. Yeah, a lot. But yeah, last award we got Coach of the Year. Rado, who you got?
Yeah, so for this award, I mean, I kind of went off of what I said earlier. My surprise team of the NFC is going to be the Vikings, and I think they're going to be slightly better than Green Bay. And now that you see that Dallas is lost Dak Prescott for a while, I don't think they're going to be one of the top teams either in NFC. So I got the Minnesota coach Kevin O'Connell. I think that he's honestly going to do really well with the team he's got around him. Great offense. They got a great defensive front seven, and I do think that with that type of team, they could easily be 12-5, or possibly even a 13-4 team. And he's probably going to be my.
You look at their schedule; they look like a 15-3 team to me.
It's an easy schedule.
Yeah.
I still got them losing to Green Bay at least one of times when they go back.
Yeah.
I think. I do think that they're going to lose one against Detroit, even though it's Detroit. I think that Detroit's they play tough in their division, and they're going to this year.
Yeah, I definitely think the Vikings, people finally start paying attention to Kirk Cousins again this year. Because everyone just wrote him off.
They did the last few years, but I mean, now that they actually have a defense along with that offense that they have, and Dalvin Cook, if he can stay healthy, then they're going to be scary.
Exactly. What about you, Jordan? Who you got for Coach of the Year?
So my bias will show on this one because I think really it should be the Dolphins coach, Mike McDaniel, whatever his name is, because I think that they should be back in the playoffs this year. They got a lot of weapons. He's an offensive coach.
They looked good first week.
And they did look good. But I took my man from Hard Knocks, Dan Campbell. I just think he entertains the hell out of me. That whole thing about one ass cheek and three toes, I will beat your ass to open up Hard Knocks. I was like, this guy is serious. He's talking to them like serious. He's not joking around. He's out of his mind. But they almost beat the Eagles. They were getting crushed. There was a little bit of garbage time, but they look offensively competent. If your boy Hutch and the rest of the D could catch up to that, and Goff doesn't, be as Goff as he can be, I think they might surprise some people. Probably not make the playoffs, but if they get like a 500 or a winning record, I think he deserves it. They're horrible as a franchise.
That's
Yeah.
honestly a great choice. And I could definitely see that if they make it to 500 or better, just being what
Just
they
that
were.
record. Yeah.
And if Goff can do what he can, I think they got a great offense with Swift and St. Brown now, and I definitely think
How
that
many games they won last year?
I think they won
It
four
was
in.
like 4 or
Yeah,
3.
they won four, right? Yeah,
They won like 0-8.
No, they won 4 games. They won 4
And
games.
they won like I think they lost their first like 11 or 12 games or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was, and then basically your boy St. Brown decided to turn up. Is that his name,
Yep.
St. Brown?
Yeah.
Amon Ra, St. Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I definitely could see them doing good in this division with obviously Green Bay looks like they're going to take a slightly
Right.
step down. I mean, they're not going to look as bad as they did in the first week of the season, but I do I think they're going to take a step down, and other teams are going to take a step up, and I still don't believe in Chicago, so I think that could be 2 easy wins for Detroit right there.
I don't know about Chicago. I still think they got offensive weapons. But my offensive, or not offensive, just coach of the year. So I got Josh McDaniels. So I think the Raiders, after having no identity last year with all the issues with Gruden, I think they finally have the personnel that they need and have a coach who just can push forward in identity. Because last year I remember I had so many issues. Like, are you a passing team? Are you a running team? Like, I don't think they know. I'll be honest. After the first game, I said I don't think they know. But as long as they have, I think they're gonna go 12-5. I think they got a decent record as well.
Really? Even in that division?
Yes, I actually got them going to the playoffs on a wild card, and we just had our AFC preview episode.
Yep.
They're this close for me to actually take that division.
Yeah, you did have
I did have them as basically like the runner up, and I think one false move, and they take that division. So
you guys put Denver fourth.
See, I did because I had the Chargers honestly number 1 in that division. I thought the Chargers.
Yeah, so I had Chiefs obviously,
Yep.
and then behind them I basically had the Raiders, and then the Chargers, and then Broncos are definitely fourth.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I actually had Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, but I did say that this could be the year that all 4 get in the playoffs. All 4 teams.
For us, that's 100% the best division in football right now.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I think out of all those teams, people brought noise because of the Broncos getting Russ. Obviously, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Everyone loved Herbert. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Raiders. And I think they can take at least half of those division games.
Yeah.
It might not be one for each team, but I think they can go 3-3 in the division at least.
If it wasn't for my love of Justin Jefferson, honestly, I probably would have put Devontae Adams as Offensive Player of the Year because I think he's going to be even better.
Yes.
In Vegas.
With the running game and defense they got, I really think that they're going to have a good year. And like I said, to me, it's all about them finding their identity and sticking to it. Because I feel like in times of trouble, when the game is on the line, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm definitely not biased because last year we had this discussion about Cooper Kupp versus Devontae Adams, who's the best receiver in the NFL, and I felt that Devontae Adams, even after the Super Bowl MVP, I thought that Devontae Adams was still the best, wide receiver in the NFL. So I think he's definitely going to go off still.
But then again, and I still do think Devontae is a 1A to Cooper's 1B. Cooper still somehow looked good on last week against the Bills, and for me, I expected a little bit of a fall off this year. Different scheme, no person on the other end to compliment you. Who y'all had before y'all had Odell? Was it Woods?
Yeah, we had Robert Woods.
Okay, so y'all always had another person on the other end that was still somewhat of a threat. Yeah, so I expected a little bit of a fall off this year for Cooper Kupp, and it damn near nobody named Cooper wasn't getting the ball.
I was
watching the game, and obviously I didn't really care if the Bills lost or won that, but I was kind of rooting for the Rams because I had Matthew Stafford on one of my fantasy teams.
So did I.
And he just was pissing me off because I also had Higbee, and it's like, bro, one, you're throwing a pick to everyone in the Bills uniform, and then 2, you're not throwing to no one not named Cooper Kupp. I'm like, you had like, and so that just baffled me how everyone still knows he's gonna go to Cooper Cup, and my man still had 10, 11 receptions for 127 yards. Like, are you
Prop
kidding me?
lock of the night, prop bet over under yards for Cooper Cup. At least what I saw was like 90. Ooh,
Oh, wow.
all in on that.
Yes,
All in on
I would have
that.
taken that. I would have taken that.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
definitely. Yes. So yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess
So
we got 3 different coaches this year
yes,
for
we did.
coaches here. It could be a lot of
It's
different
anyone's
scenarios.
game.
It could be different scenarios, like a coach, getting to 500 from a lowly team, like even like you said, even like in Miami, if Miami makes it to the playoffs or a team like that, or something like crazy like the Jaguars make it to the playoffs. I don't know. Somebody out there could, be coach of the year, but I think the ones that we have are pretty locks, like Minnesota, Oakland. I think those are pretty decent, and as well as obviously Dan Campbell and the Lions. So I think he's one of the most electrifying coaches
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
They either go 500 this year, or he'll probably be looking for another defensive coordinator position. So he better hope he gets the coach of the year.
Right? Yeah. I'm rooting for him though. I like what I saw.
I know. Me too.
Yeah. But that was all the awards that we went through. Obviously, we broke down MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, and then the Coach of the Year. And you guys heard our picks. A lot of them we had similar ones, but most of them were pretty different. So I'm definitely interested to see what happens at the end of the year. And Jordan, I want to thank you for doing this interview with us again.
Thank you guys.
Podcast.
Yes, it was a pleasure getting to know not only a little bit more about the man, the myth, and the legend, but just how the whole story became. Because I'm not gonna lie, when you told me, like I said, obviously me and Jordan know each other in real life. When you told me that, I didn't believe you either. I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "There's gotta like," because in my head, I'm like, I feel like Bills fans been doing this for like forever. And that's how most Bills fans feel. Like when I mentioned it to other Bills fans, they're like, "Nah, like we've always been doing table." I was like, find me proof that you've been doing this since before 2015, and you can tell me. So it definitely hell, in just 1 year before that season was over, it was already a trend. So yes, once again, man, thank you for allowing us that little insight and just spending some time with us today, man. I know our fans enjoyed it.
No, I thank you guys. You guys are the best. I would love to hop on here with you anytime you want. Obviously, we'll see how these picks wind up, and
Yeah, we'd love to have you like towards the end of the season if you want to see how these picks turned out, or even like during some big Bills games. If there's stuff going on, we'll definitely pick out a time. But where can
for sure. So I am on. Let's see. Look up the Leaving Earth podcast. It's at Leaving Earth Pod. It's on Twitter. We do 3 different podcasts between the sports pod of Mortal Sportsman, kind of an update. We call it a news pod, updates on humanity, and then our Astro Anthologies pod, which is more of a, I guess, spiritual, religious path.
Nice.
All of it we're inebriated for. So that's obviously kind of like the running theme for all of Bill's Mafia. So, but yeah, if you guys ever need any insight on hockey, one of the big popular sports here in North America, let me know. We do that hockey. We do that hockey around here.
I know that's right. I would say, yeah, we're definitely working our way up to picking up all the sports, and we're gonna need some experts in some of those subjects. So we'll keep you in mind.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I could watch hockey any day of the week, but we're on the cusp. We're getting there.
On the cusp still, on the cusp. Yeah. Definitely, and appreciate you again, Jordan. And real quick, guys, if you guys are watching the video, make sure you guys click the like button below, and make sure you guys subscribe. We just gave you a great interview with a super fan of the Bills and a guy that's been table smashing probably all his life, but obviously made it very famous doing so. And he's got a podcast of his own, so you guys should definitely check that out. Also, if you guys want to check out our Patreon, make sure you guys go to patreon.com/whoyougot. We got some really great things for you guys out there. You guys can see some behind the scenes stuff. We're going to be doing some behind the scenes episodes too on there. But for now, if you guys want to ask us questions, that's the place to go. And if you want to get some merch, we also got some of that on there. You could also find us wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're pretty much everywhere. Just type in Who You Got. on your phone or on your computer, you'll find us. And on our personal pages, the Iconic Dude, you can find me at Instagram / the Iconic Dude, and Melo.
Melo the Notorious, Iconic almost forgot where to find himself.
I was like, wait, which website am I using? I'm talking about like Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. Like we got TikTok.
That's a mouthful, dude. You did great.
I tried.
You already know we love fan interaction, so please keep commenting, sharing, letting us know what you want. A lot of our ideas we got coming up are coming from you guys. We love giving you guys the great sports contents, and just that's what we're here for. So a lot of good plans planned in the next couple months. This was our first of many guests, many interviews. So we definitely got a lot in the works for you guys.
Yeah, that's right. And again, really appreciate you guys watching this episode of Who You Got With
Melo
and Rado. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.